Hello, I'm Chuck Phillip, and welcome to another edition of Southern Home Talk. And this is a pretty good experiment that I performed in my own home, of all places. And it's something I've been wanting to do for a little over a year now, just haven't taken the time to do it. And I wished I had it because I really have discovered some pretty big issues going on within my own house. And I hope that this is somewhat informative to you as well, because if it's happening at my home, more than likely it's happening in certain places in your house as well. And so this was done on the 10th of October the 2nd of this month, just a couple of days ago. And so the outside temperature was 86 degrees, 35% humidity, which is really good about this time of year. And that's why when I put my deck video up a couple of days ago, this is the time of year to really do these projects, because it's the only time we get this kind of dry weather. But I'm going to stay on point here with this. And so the inside, I set the thermostat down to 68 degrees for this experiment on the inside. And so what we're looking at is the temperature of the shingles. It doesn't really matter if they're 3-tab or architectural. It came in 150 degrees. And the roof decking on the opposite side was 126. Now I've measured roof decking as high as 155 degrees. And that was with metal roof, of course, but I'm about to get into that here in a second. You can see this is wood planking for the roof decking, and it's actually boiled the sap out of it. And what happened in this case is where they put a new metal roof over the shingle roof, and the thermal transfer, they didn't put any kind of break between it. And so that metal actually created a 155 degree roof decking temperature, and it's just boiling the sap out of this lumber, and it's also creating a fire hazard too. And so getting back to my house here, this is where the ceiling temperature measured 95 degrees. There's no insulation above this area. This is drywall. And you can see in this thermal image, because what happened was, is when I encapsulated this or enclosed this carport area, I never put any insulation above it. And that's what happens usually, is especially if you have a garage, what happens, people enclose them, and normally they never put insulation over the garage area. And so when you turn that to living space, well, now you've got, this kind of situation you're looking at here, and that real dark blue purple, that's really where the air conditioner vent is. And so on the brick walls, I got 134 degrees. I was kind of surprised at that kind of temperature, especially only being 86 degrees outside. And there's no insulation in these walls either, and so the wall temperature measured 84. In the areas where there were insulation, it was 73 degrees, which is quite a bit of a difference between the two. And also where the wall was 82 degrees, not having any sunlight facing it, the wall temperature on the opposite side of that was 67, so that was quite impressive as well. And so what I really thought was kind of cool was this trim piece that went around this window here. Is dark brown, and I was really surprised that measured out 178 degrees Fahrenheit. That was really hot. And metal window frames, if you have them, probably the darker they are, the more temperature they're going to hold. So this one measured 150 degrees, and on the opposite side of that, it was 110. And so this is the fascia we're looking at. It goes around the top part of the house, and it was 117 degrees. And so what got me kind of thinking here is about the thermal transfer going on between wood that's exposed to the outside and wood that's making contact with the roof decking, and how that can thermal transfer over into these structural components. And so, remember earlier that this roof decking was 126. Well, this rafter here is now 106. And so when you look at this thermal image, you can see where the lumber up there in the attic has this thermal transfer right over to the top part of the ceiling area. And here's a better photograph here. We can see it going all the way around. This is actually a kind of a knee wall that comes out. And so that's just confirmed my suspicions that if you have a very hot attic, well, the lumber up there can transfer this heat inside the living space. Now, this is where a piece of insulation is missing, and you can see where it's missing. It's 83 degrees, and just 1 foot over, it's 76. so that's a big difference between the two. Now, I know these wood doors are beautiful and they're quite expensive as well, but they also act as one big, large heating element to your home as well. You can see that the outside wood temperature came in at 153, and on the inside it was 95 degrees. So that's just one large heating element that your air conditioner is having to overcome. Now, probably the biggest thing that most houses have that's not insulated is the attic hatch cover. If you have these in the hallway, and so you can see how hot that is. In fact, the bottom part of that measured 82 degrees. And so really these should be insulated if they're inside the home. And here again with the carport area, there's no insulation up above, but you can see that the bright yellow coming around this light fixture is also allowing even more heat inside the living space because it's not insulated around that either. Now this is a pretty interesting photograph here with this bathroom. You can see that the bathroom vent is not exhausted to the exterior, it's just open to the attic. And so what's going on here is actually heat transfers coming from the attic space inside. And what's even more cool is if you look to the right of this, you can see these blue arms kind of like reaching out to it. And what's going on here is there's an air conditioning duct right there, and it's sweating. And so what's going on is this moisture is actually wicking toward this vent because moisture always seeks dry areas, and that's what's going on here. Now, it's kind of interesting to note that this shutter is 146 degrees because of its color, and that goes to show you that the darker the color that you choose, the more likely the hotter that product's going to be. And that's why you really should choose lighter colors when you're painting anything that's exposed to sunlight. And I'm going to be doing some pretty interesting experiments here for the next couple of months on how to try to reduce this thermal load by using coatings and stuff. Some of this stuff I've ordered from overseas, and some of this stuff is some things I actually came up with my own to compare it to that. So we're just going to have to see how they work out, and hopefully they will prove fruitful in this endeavor to try to reduce this thermal load on the home, because that's what's really driving your air conditioning utility bill up, and it's also causing your system to run more too, which decreases the service life. So stay tuned, guys, to these other episodes I have coming up. Hopefully they're going to be informative, and hopefully they're going to save us some money as well.